Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris and this is Restoration Rescue. In today's video, we're gonna start knocking out this front suspension. So make sure you comment, like, and subscribe and stick around for the entire video. All right guys, we are getting a little bit of a late start today. We had to make sure we had all the tools that were necessary, which included 2 trips to Lowe's, O'Reilly's, and Advanced, but we finally have what we need to start. So we're gonna start with the upper and lower control arm and changing out the bushings. These are a little bit different than your normal bushings. They have like a bar style bushing that we need to take off. So we're gonna knock that out first. So for the smaller bushing, you need to use a 1 3/8. For the bigger one, it is a 1, and it's gargantuan, a 1 5/8 socket that goes on the end of this thing. Ours is a little muddy, so we do have to clean off a little bit of the edge. As you can see, we did already sandblast, paint, and prime and paint the upper and lower control arm. So this is gonna go, we're gonna get this started and start knocking this out. All right, so when you take this one off, it is the 1 3/8. We ran into a little bit of an issue with this one. We tried a breaker bar, everything. We put heat on it. So then we decided we were gonna try air because it was pretty much seized. So we did get it mostly off with that. So we're just gonna get the last little bit off. It's just hand tight at this point. So pull off that end and get rid of that. And it did tear up a little bit of our paint. That's not a big deal. We will probably hit it with more paint later. And then just like when we pull this out, what we found is you got to push down on the rubber. It might be on the other side. Let's try this side then. You push down on the rubber bushing. Let's see, I gotta kind of straddle it. And then it comes right out. So then we're just gonna match it up, make sure that it is still the right part. And that matches. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen the ends of these. We are not gonna throw these like we did the other one. Take that off, set that aside, and take this one off the same. Oh, this one is coming with the rubber. Let me see this. Just push down the little rubber bushing so that it doesn't come with it, because it's supposed to stay with the bushing, not the cap, when it comes off. Ours were stuck on, so we did have to use the screwdriver right here and push them down a little bit. So like we said, take this off, do it as quick as I can. Don't lose it, it's important. Then we come over here and we're gonna take our grease, our high temperature, this is red and tacky grease. And we're gonna take a glob of it and put it on our finger. And we're just gonna lube it up in here, because metal on metal is very bad. It will wear out this bushing real quick and you'll run into a lot of issues and premature wear, stuff like that. So make sure you do both sides. You get it nice and greased up. It's okay. Take a little bit more just to make sure that we're good and greased, because you don't want to have that metal and metal contact. So from there, once I'm done playing with all this grease, might add a little bit more, I think. Nope, that should be about good actually. I'm gonna put this down and wipe off my finger with this rag so I can actually, once I get rid of this leaf. So then, just like taking it out, you put it in on one side and you have to push down the bushing a little bit so that the other end will fit in. So we put it down, let's see, maybe I should have hit the gym today. All right, put that over here. All right, well, let's try it the other end. Oh, without dropping it, that's great. Make sure you clean out this leaf if you drop anything in it, just so it doesn't grime up your grease. Sorry about that. Let's try. Why is that being a pain in my butt? Came out easy. Why isn't it going back in? All right, sorry about that. We were able to get it in. Had to call on you know, the muscle of the team, the cameraman Tim, as I need to hit the gym a little bit more. But so now what we need to do is when we put these on, we have to line them up so that they're directly in the center. And then what we also want to do is, you can see the way it's set up with the 2 bolt holes pointing out. That's important because when we go to put it back in, that's how it has to line up. So we're gonna just start these really quick by hand, and then we're gonna cinch them down. Unfortunately, what we've noticed on these bushings is that the bolt, or the outer part of the bushing, is a different size than the previous one. So unfortunately we can't use a socket. You'd probably have to step up to the next size, one bigger than 3/8, which I believe is 5/16, or sorry, 1/2. Sorry, my brain. So you'd have to jump up to probably 1/2 to get it to work, or you can try a bigger millimeter. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this adjustable ratchet, which will work fine as long as we can still get some torque. So we're gonna just hand tighten them as far as we can, making sure that they're kind of lined up. That one went a little out of line, so loosen this up and get it a little closer to the other side so that we're directly in the center. And then we just try and hold it. So what you can do is you take this, you put it in there, so when it turns, it's really not going to go anywhere. This one is going a little slow, so we're going to start towards me. We're just going to tighten them up little by little on each side so they make sure they're good to go. So that is all tight and all ready to go. As you can see, it's still got a little bit of movement, which is okay. A little bit, which is not a big deal because it's got to move a little bit when the car flexes. You can see we scratched it up. It's not that big a deal. There are some grease fittings in here. I don't know if you can see very well through the bag, but there are. We're gonna leave that till later, until we get the bottom and the top, and we're ready to grease all the stuff together, so we don't have to like come back later time, grease later and all that. But we did pre-grease it a little bit, so we'll add a little bit more grease later. We're gonna go knock out the other one real quick, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so this is the lower control arm, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna knock this off. We've already loosened them a little bit. They were a little rusty, so pull this off. The size of the socket on this is 1 5/8. It comes in 3/4, so we had to get an adapter because we don't have any of that. So knocked it out with air. Same thing, coming down here, we pop this out the same way as we did on the top. It's pretty much a pretty similar ordeal. Maybe a little bit easier. And put that down because it's gonna be greasy and nasty. We'll turn it over so that we can see a little bit better, for at least me. We will take our new bushing. The main thing with this is when we do it is these 2 little nubs. They match up with a spot on the frame, so you want this to be facing down, since now this is the bottom, so that when it like bolts into the vehicle, this and this are able to just slide up right into place, because there's little U-joints that hold this part on. So let's grease these up, and then we're gonna toss these in. All right, so we have flipped it back over, so when we put it in, we wanna make sure these 2 nub holes are facing up. So we just slide that in. Press it down a little bit. I gotta start hitting the gym, man. This is ridiculous. Let's try it this way. Might have to call in our helper, you know, the muscle of the group. Muscle Tim. All right, so Just make sure when you go to put this on that we line these up. They are staggered a little bit. This is going to be towards the front end of the truck, and you're going to line it up to the bottom of your front cross member, and make sure that these two line up when they line up on there, just so that it all fits together all copacetically. All right, guys, sorry about that. Our camera had died. Pretty much all we did was tighten everything up. Make sure, like I said before, that those two nubs are facing up on each side. So those are done. We have the fronts done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take care of the upper ball joint for the upper control arm. So we're gonna open this up. Probably should have done this before, but here it is. As you can see on these just screw in. We got to hold on to this Carter pin though, because that's going to be important later when we start putting stuff back together. But we're going to get this all set, and pretty much it should. Oops, don't lose my grease fitting as well, because that's going to be needed. So we need to hold on to this bag right here. Hold that, and they should just slide right in, which they do. Just gotta not have it on the ground, and then we just put in our bolts. All right, so it's a 13 in our kit, so we're gonna put the bolt in, line it up with the hole. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just put the nut on the bottom. As you can see, it's right there. Just put a little nut on there, if I can figure it out. If I can figure it out. There you go, and then just tighten it down. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten these down, and then we'll be right back. All right, so we tried to practice with one of our bushings, and we failed. So we did it wrong. We left this on and tried to go up through the bottom, so we ripped our rubber, which, as many of you know, is not a good thing. So we found out that we're supposed to press it in without the rubber piece on, then put the rubber cap on. That's how it's supposed to be done. So we're gonna try it now, and hopefully don't screw this up this time. So let's do it. All right, guys, so we're gonna show you how to actually set this up too. We tried to look online, and that was probably why we screwed up. So you need to find, if you have a clamp, you can get it from your little auto parts store. You need to find something for the top that is bigger than the ball joint. Then you're gonna take this and you're gonna push that right over it, so that when we put this on, the ball joint, the top of it goes right through the hole. It's not supposed to do that either, but you push it in as far as you can by hand, then you put these on it. Obviously this is gonna be a little crooked because our ball joint's a little crooked already. So then flip this and hold it, thanks Tim, and you take the cap and you put the cap on the bottom. If you can hold the cap for me, Tim. Thank you. Then we take this and we slide that over that. Watch out. It's slipping. That's okay. That's okay. All right, and then we slowly tighten it down. It would be preferable if that little cap was a little bigger. We wouldn't have to worry about that. But now, come over with our handy dandy ratchet, and you just slowly tighten it and make sure that it goes in nice and even. All right, guys, so then you take this, you put this on, and obviously when you push on the, it'll push down towards the bottom, you'll fill it with grease. Then this comes on and you tighten it down once the other part's here, throw in the Carter pin through the hole and tie it around. But we're not ready for that because that's wait until we get it on the truck. But here is all of what we've done today. We got our bushings in, we got our upper ball joints in. You can see it from the top, you can see it from the bottom. You got both ball joints in. We got the other one done too, but we did that on the issue where we broke the ball joint on the bottom. That's on order, it's on its way. So we're gonna take care of that on another day. But that is gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thanks for stopping by, we really appreciate it. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. We really appreciate every one of you stopping by to enjoy our channel. So thank you, have a great Saturday.